Greetings. This is Doc Ock here at Black Facts Headquarters Central. Doc Ock at noon and 9. Bringing you the word of the day. Let the word be heard. Black facts are coming at you all through the land. But we could use a little help if you could give us a hand. And what we'd like you to do right now is give us a like. If you're watching on Facebook, if you're on the tube, give us a thumbs up. And then go ahead and do the most important thing you can do today, which is spread the word through the land by word of mouth, because that's still the best advertisement of all. Spread it to your friends, your family, your relatives, your enemies, anybody you see. Let them know about Black Facts, tubular Black Facts, the Black Facts that you can find online that are always real fine and sometimes quite divine and free as well. Let's keep it that way. Meanwhile, let's go ahead and do our proverb for the day. Proverb for the day is: a man who continually laments is not heeded. Now, I hope y'all know what a lamentation is. Lamentation is real simple. That means somebody who's always fretting, somebody who's always worried, somebody who's always got a complaint, never has anything good to say. So a man who continually laments is not heeded. And to heed something, now that's another question. What does that mean? Y'all gonna have to look that one up. The word is heed, word for the day. H-E-E with a D at the end. Check it out. Maybe it'll make you grin. In the meanwhile, we're gonna return. We're gonna pick up where we left off at, reading from our little book right here, The 5 Negro Presidents. And if you don't know what Negro means, I'll explain it to you. That basically just means black in Spanish. In Spanish, we say it negro, but in English, we use the word Negro. And for a long time, that's what black folks in America were called, Negroes. So let's go ahead. We're still sharing our slideshow, and we're gonna go ahead and transition on over to our slideshow while we share these thoughts with you about the 5 Negro presidents. Let's see. Now, where can we go here? Okay. All right. Now, okay, so for some reason, I don't know why, I didn't seem to have a place marker in here. So we're gonna have to, here it goes here. Yeah, I remember we read about this part here yesterday. Okay. All right, yeah. We were right over here. So we must have been getting into Thomas Jefferson. Thomas Jefferson. Very interesting character in American history, because he didn't have very many good things to say about Negroes, but he sure did have a long-term affair with a very famous Negro by the name of Sally Hemings. So let's see why that might have been. The chief attack on Thomas Jefferson was in the Johnny Cake papers. In a general denunciation of him, it said, Thomas Jefferson, son of a half-breed Indian squaw sired by a Virginia mulatto father. It also called him a half nigger. Dang. Opposition papers took it up. Difficult to find matter with specific details of the assertion now. And then he gives a bunch of references, which I read those yesterday. Then we went on to talk a little bit about Andrew Jackson. Andrew Jackson's father and mother came from Ireland and were wretchedly poor. The Virginia Magazine of History, volume 29, page 191, says that Jackson was the son of a white woman who had intermarried with a Negro, and that his eldest brother had been sold as a slave in Carolina. What gave an air of truth to this was that the elder Jackson died before Andrew was born. His widow went to live on the Crawford farm where there were Negro slaves, and one of these was Andrew's father. It was stressed that Andrew was conceived after the death of his supposed father, whose name he bore. Other mention can be found in David C. Doyle's Ordeal of the Presidency on page 127, 1960, or Jacobson D. Jacobson D. That doesn't say, I don't know, seems like there should be another name there. Maybe that's D. Jacobson. Affairs of Dame Rumor, page 190, 1943. And then here we have a very famous image, which I'll share with you really quickly here, of a picture of Abraham Lincoln. This is President number 3. And the picture you see here is a picture that was in a newspaper where they called Abraham Lincoln Africanus Abe. They did him much like Barack Obama got done when he was in office. There he goes there. You see him? Abe Africanus. And this cartoon appeared in the year 1860. And the original source is not known at this point in time. But it appeared in a book by David Browder, Ordeal of the Presidency. And of course, he asks us here to note his woolly hair. And again, this is in the pamphlet, a little small pamphlet, one of the last things produced by J.A. Rogers, Joel Augustus Rogers, who was one of our greatest African-American historians, happens to be from the island of Jamaica. Abraham Lincoln was said to be the illegitimate son of a Negro by Nancy Hanks. In his campaign for the presidency, he was often referred to as a Negro by his opponents. He was even depicted as a Negro. He was called Abraham Africanus I. What gave strength to this was that his hair was more Negroid than Caucasian. You might have noticed that he always had issues with his hair. So was his color. Of his father, he said, his face was round, his complexion swarthy. Swarthy being a euphemism for black. His face was round, his complexion swarthy, his hair black and coarse, his eyes browns of himself, of dark complexion, with coarse black hair and dark eyes. Herndon, his closest friend and law partner, said he had, quote unquote, very dark skin. That doesn't come across in the depictions we see of him because they're all in black and white, so it's hard to see. His confidential servant, William Slade, S-L-A-D-E, an ex-slave and a Negro, was much fairer and had straight hair. Slade looked like a white man, Herndon said. There was something about his, in other words, Lincoln's origin, he never cared to dwell on. Other writers agree with him, Coleman says. All we know about President Lincoln's parentage and his birth under his own hand are 2 brief records. One, an entry in the Bible in his own handwriting that he was born on February 12, 1809, and the other, a brief autobiography, which he gave Mr. Jesse R. Fell in December 1859 for a campaign sketch. Lincoln had a secret preying on his mind. Was it his race? His enemies harped on it. Herndon says of it, Lincoln often thought of committing suicide. So the question is why? Did the knowledge of his mother's origin or his own press the thought of suicide upon him? For more information on that, check out the book The Hidden Lincoln, page 412, 1938 edition. Jacobson mentions a catechism by a Western author adducing evidence that Lincoln was of Negro ancestry. He also mentions another catechism by Chauncey Burr, who said it would not rebound to Lincoln's honor to have it proved that he is part Negro. For then, on the ground of a natural sympathy with his own race, we might find excuses for facts which we could never pardon a white man. William Coleman says the evidence that Abraham Lincoln was not born in lawful wedlock. That was the title of an article he wrote in 1899. He gives a number of references here, which I'm not going to read them all because it's too numerous to go into. But he concludes this paragraph saying, it seems clear that those whites who said Lincoln was a Negro are right. Next, we've got up Vice President Hannibal Hamlin, who was President Lincoln's first vice president. Even more than Lincoln was his vice president, Hannibal Hamlin, who also was said to be a Negro. While United States Senator from Maine, he was often attacked from the floor because of his dark skin. To one opponent, he replied, "I take my color from nature. You get yours from the brandy bottle. Which is more honorable?" He was a special target for the South during the 1860 campaign. The more so as he was more outspoken against slavery than Lincoln. Editorials thundered against him and the dire effects of electing a free Negro to the vice presidency. And, you know, that kind of has a ring to it now because we now have a second quote-unquote Negro as a vice president. Succession, that was a quote from R.B. Rhett, succession leader of the Charleston, South Carolina Mercury, July 9, 1860, where he says, Hannibal Hamlin is what we call a mulatto. He has black blood in him. The northern people elected that man in consequence of his peculiarity. They designed to place over the South a man who has Negro blood. He wrote Lincoln that he understood that Lincoln had a mulatto boy, and if you will let us know what you'll take for the boy, Hannibal, and your price is reasonable, we'll purchase him. Yeah, they offered to buy his vice president. The Chicago Democrat, this article could be found in the Chicago Democrat, June 4, 1861, where they said, the constant theme in the South for the last 2 months has been the election of the abolitionist Lincoln and the free Negro Hamlin. Now, the picture you're seeing, if you're watching on YouTube, the picture you're seeing right now is of the grandfather of Warren G. Harding. Notice his hair. Okay, always a clear sign is the hair. As regards Hamlin's color, General Butler wrote the Secretary of War Stanton when he was gathering Negro troops for the Union Army that he would have a regiment of mulattoes about the complexion of Vice President Hamlin. And these are also The next picture, this picture you're seeing right now is Warren G. Harding's third cousin is in the front row, but there's other cousins in the back rows. Now notice how they look. Okay, because you know we come in a variety of shades. While the South was making much against Lincoln and Hamlin, one of the South's generals, James B. Floyd, was being called a Negro in the North. Floyd had been governor of Virginia, a candidate for the presidency of the United States, and a former Secretary of War. A United States publication, the Rebellion Record, Volume 3, page 47, 1862, has the following story about Floyd from the Springfield, Illinois Republican. Before we go on to that, take a look at what I've got up on the screen right now. I've got a Ohio historical marker from the former Iberia College, which is now Central College, where Warren G. Harding, the 29th president of the United States, graduated in 1882. While a student there, he and a friend founded the school newspaper, the Iberia Spectator. But I believe that's a black school, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. Check into that one. Okay, check that out. Oh, there it is. Iberia College was dedicated to the education of all races, particularly the newly freed slaves. Bam. There you go. So it wasn't, quote unquote, a historically black college. It was more like Oberlin, where black students were welcome, particularly after the Civil War was over, in this case. A few years ago, this is a quote, a few years ago, a gentleman residing in Richmond, Virginia, gave a large dinner to some distinguished men, among whom was Floyd, then a rising man, but whose personal appearance indicated neither mental or physical superiority, he being a pursy, dark-complexioned man with crispy hair. Among the guests were two Indian chiefs, magnificent specimens of their race. Floyd, thinking to compliment them and make them at their ease, told them in a condescending manner that he could boast of Indian blood, being descended from Pocahontas. Oh yeah, that's an old one there. One of the chiefs, drawing himself up majestically and disdainfully, and with a look of contempt on his noble countenance, said in broken English, "Ugh, no, no, nigger, 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 nigger." He wasn't getting away with it with the Indian chief. The confusion and dismay of Floyd was complete, and it required all the boasted politeness of Richmond to keep the other guests from laughing out loud. Mention of a Negro strain in Lincoln was revived most unexpectedly in 1940 when RKO, the film company, for the world premiere of the motion picture Abe Lincoln in Illinois, offered a prize for the American who most resembled Lincoln. The winner was Thomas Bomar, a lawyer and president of the National Postal Alliance. When, after submitting his picture, he appeared in person, the judges were amazed. It was as if Lincoln had come to life. But before the premiere, it was discovered that Bomar, who to all appearances was white, was actually a Negro. He was given the prize and sat in the front row the opening night, but nothing was said of the contest. The daily papers were silent about the affair, but the Interstate Broadcasting Company of New York mentioned it January 27th, while the Negro press gave it wide publicity. Friday, an outspoken white magazine also gave it several pages with pictures under the heading "Lincoln Snubbed at Lincoln Movie Show." It tells how the prize was privately awarded to a Negro the man who looked most like Lincoln. That's from March 15, 1940. You can also find it in J.E. Rogers' book, Sex and Race, Volume 2, page 379, where you'll find a picture of Bomar. So we're going to end there. I'll make sure to put a marker in there. I don't know why I didn't have markers in there yesterday. I think these markers have been falling out during the daytime, or maybe when I pick the book up and I just don't notice. But we'll see if we can keep that one in there today. Oh, and there we see a picture of President Barack Hussein Obama, 44th President of the USA. So, as you may have noted, we don't hold to the theory, because that's all it is, that he was the first black president, because we know for sure there were black presidents before him, but they were merely passing. And if you don't know what passing is, you're going to have to look that up, because we don't have time to explain it right now. But we'll be black, and when we come black, we'll see if we can clarify what passing means. Meanwhile, all you little children need to do something right about now. Lay your little head on your little pillow, on your little bed, close those your eyes, and wait for that sun to rise. And when those sunbeams start beaming down on your eyes, you know that it's time for you to arise and shine. So go ahead, old children of mine. Lay down now, but rise and shine when you feel the rays of the sun beaming down on your eyes. You'll know that this day is done, but the next one has begun, and it's time to rise and shine and have a little bit more fun. Yeah, that's right. I still got it. I still got it. Meanwhile, all you adults out there, you know what we need you to do. Number 1, give us a like if you're watching on Facebook. Number 2, give us a thumbs up if you're watching on the tube. Number 3, become a sustaining member by making a donation on a recurring basis, if at all possible. If not, you can always make a one-time donation. How do you do it? Easiest way, go to our website, blakfacts.org. That's where you find me and a donation button at the top of the page. Hit it right now. Make your donation anyhow. $5 is a good place to start. We like to do $5 increments. 5, 10, 15, 20. It's all about the cash money, because we need money in order to keep this operation afloat. And that's what we're in the process of doing, trying to keep our boat afloat, continue to bring you the stories that you're never going to hear on your local news station, CNN, MSNBC. You probably won't even hear it on NPR. So, we are the exclusive outlet for Black Facts. Tubular Black Facts is where we're at. Make sure to check in here twice a day. This is Doc Ock at noon and 9. Signing off. We'll be black tomorrow at noon. We'll see you then. Peace out without a doubt. With justice. Because anything less disgusts us. We can't have no peace without no justice.